Thanks for taking the time to take a quick look at Teamcenter and requirements-driven design made easy. Over the next 4 to 5 minutes, you're going to see how easy it is to capture, share, and maintain requirements, and more importantly, to connect them to your product development processes to ensure you start compliant and stay compliant, whether the requirements are from a customer, design specifications, or industry regulations. Let's take a look.
In this case, if I were going to go in and start a new project, for example, for a new hand drill, I'm going to go look for the specs or the existing requirements so I can start there. And what I have the ability to do here is to search and filter to make it easy to find what I'm looking for. So rather than looking into the entire database, I'm only looking for specific information, and this allows you to filter down to a specifically kind of information you're interested in. So using this, I'm going to jump over into the new consumer hand drill project that I'm about to undertake. Now, as I step into this, you can see I have a structure of requirements. This is equivalent to your bill of materials type of structures that are used throughout your project, product structures, functional structures, process structures, and so forth. This is a requirement structure that's now available to you. And I'll point out to you that these requirements that you see here are first-class objects, just like anything else in Teamcenter. Now, that means it's subject to all the variation, change, so forth and so on as you work here. So what I'm going to do in this process, I'm going to go create a new, some new requirements for this new project. Oh, before I go there, I'll point out to you that you can see here that as I select on this, I can look at this in a documentation or a specification type view. This looks familiar to you because it'll look just like your existing specifications. The difference here is each of these paragraphs, if you will, are individual requirements, and those individual requirements have their own individual life cycles. So you can change, for example, a particular requirement and have it participate in various versions of the spec and so forth. So now that I've got this, I'm going to go ahead and add some requirements here. Now you notice when I do this, it creates this object in the structure of requirements. This new requirement is being placed there. This is asking that we have a cheaper processor in this specification. Now, of course, there's many different kinds of requirements that you're going to want to create. Now, this could also, of course, have been imported directly from external sources like standards, RIF standards, or Word documents, those kinds of things. I could also, of course, have created and manipulated these requirements directly from standard Office products like Excel and Word, for example. Now, each of these individual requirements can have a different behavior based on the type. So, for example, electrical requirements or performance requirements or safety requirements can have different rules, different variation, so forth. So now as we've got this, the important here, as I pointed out earlier, is the fact that what we care about with requirements isn't necessarily just the requirements themselves, but where they go. So what we're after doing is you'll notice that as I scrolled down through this, you saw these link indicators. And you have the ability, via drag and drop and otherwise, to be able to look at the trace relationships that go place. There's a special tab if you want to get some more details here, but as you look at this, you can see that the selected requirement for longer battery life traces to a motor, a complete gearbox, a machine housing, and of course it can go to other things, like for example, it can go to project schedules or tasks, it can go to manufacturing processes, can go to warranty issues, can go to all those other kinds of objects that exist inside a Teamcenter and are used to manage the entire product life cycle. Now, I could have edited these requirements either directly in either the spec view or in the property view. And of course, what I'm going to do now that I've got all my requirements gathered is you'll notice I'm about to start a standard change process. Now, this is a standard change capability that's part of the PLM systems, in particular Teamcenter in this case, but you can now see how these requirements, if I gathered up all the changes for parts, products, or whatever, the requirements would actually participate in that process as well.
Thanks again for watching. You saw how Teamcenter requirements-driven design lets you easily capture, share, and maintain requirements, whether they came from a customer, design specs, or industry regulations. And more importantly, connect the requirements with your product development people and processes to make sure you start compliant and stay compliant. See more at siemens.com/impact of PLM.